What made you think I would be that type of producer? My name is Shania, just Shania Banson, and I have been a filmmaker for the past 11 years, and I have been a director, writer, and producer for the past 3 years, and I have been a screener for a film festival for the past 2 years. On today's OnSet Talks, I'm going to describe a lot of the different kinds of producers in films, because what I get so very frequently is people contacting me asking me to be a certain type of producer on a film, and I'm always asking, what made you think I would be that type of producer? And what that goes to show is that a lot of people do not know what actual producers do and or the roles that they are asking for. It is so very important, especially as a first-time filmmaker, for you to understand what these different roles are before you reach out to other filmmakers asking them to be said role on your project. Let's define the type of producers for your film so that you can better understand what kind of producer you may need for your particular project. Now, I just want to outline that there are truly hundreds and hundreds of types of producers, and that they all vary, whether this is film, whether this is TV, whether this is digital and you're working for a corporation. There are so many different types of producers, and they're defined all differently. A lot of the times they're defined incorrectly because people just throw everything under the title of producer. They'll think that you're a producer and you edit, which you can be a producer and you can be somebody who knows how to edit, but when you're being hired as a producer, the expectation should not be that you are editing. Either way, I'm just going to be focusing on film, and I'm just going to be focusing on the most common types of producers in film. Let's start with the most glamorized title there is for any film, and that is an executive producer. Now, it's so funny when I see people saying that they're an executive producer, because ultimately, if you know, it actually may not mean anything at all. Because what an executive producer is, it's the top of the food chain when it comes to the decision making of said production. There are different ways to earn the title of an executive producer. If you're an executive producer, you can get that title simply from being the person who found the funding for the project. You don't have to do any of the work on the project after you find that funding and have received said executive producer title. Honestly, somebody could name you an executive producer just because you're their best friend. Somebody could name you an executive producer maybe because you went above and beyond in your role. It is truly a title that is self-dubbed by the person who owns the film. So being an executive producer and have it glamorized and put at the top of everything isn't always as woo-woo as you may think it is. Another thing I want to highlight is that the executive producers who may be in the field doing the work, they are the head decision makers of said production. Meaning, every time there's something that every department needs, every time there's budget overage or something that needs to be approved and or decided on, the person who makes that final decision is the executive producers. There can be multiple executive producers on the project. Some of them are bought in, i.e. they gave a lot of the money, or they found the money, or they are a part of the network, they're a part of the streaming platform. They may be the people who are the executives at the company that is helping you make the project. It could be a vanity title, quite honestly. If you are looking for somebody to be your second in command and actually do the work of helping you make all of the top decisions, that is going to be the person who you dub the executive producer. If you are looking for somebody to help you find the funding, be prepared to give them an executive producer title and credit. So an executive producer, it can vary. There's many ways to be titled that. Then you have your producers and your co-producers. These are the people who are taking care of the logistics of your project. In my opinion, it is really hard for you to label yourself as a producer if you cannot handle logistics and operations, because that is quite literally the biggest job that you have as a producer. That is like 70 to 80% of all of the work that you're doing is logistics and operations. As a person who wants to be a producer, or if you are a producer, or if you are looking for a producer, look for somebody who is good at logistics and operations. Do not just bring your friends onto a project and say that they're a producer if they don't know how to do the logistics of it, because what are they doing? What are they doing? Helping you is also a way to get a producer credit. If they're helping you, by all means, give them the producer credit, but you're gonna have to find co-producers to then do the logistics and the operations. That is what your producers are for. Those are the people that are helping you organize the departments. They're the ones that are managing the other departments. So whenever you have your production built out, you want to put producers above certain departments so that the people within those departments know who they are speaking to or asking questions to. So let's say you have 3 producers. One of them should be over cam and G&E, another one one should be over art. The other one should be over production management. They are bringing the entire production together into one puzzle. A production is truly just a bunch of puzzle pieces. It's a business. Those producers are the executives. Even though they're not executive producers, they are still the executives of your business. So you want to make sure that they know how to keep an organized ship so that when the executive producers, and if you're on a larger level, the studios and the networks come calling and asking questions, they know that their business is being ran by the correct people and they can ask those questions and get those answers. So when you are starting your project, the first thing you should truly try to find is the people who are going to be the producers on your project, the people who are going to run your business the way it needs to be run. Then the people who are assisting those producers are the associate producers. They too should also be really good when it comes to logistics and operations and communications, because those are going to be the on-hand people. So once you are getting into the flow of your production and your producers are putting together all those puzzle pieces, certain remedial tasks will usually fall on the associate producer and or the production manager. That is what that is going to fall under. Those are the people who are going to handle the nitty-gritty of that. Those producers are going to say, these are the things we need to get in order, and the associate producer is going to be the first command who is going to start getting those things in order. If this is a micro budget production and you may not have enough funds to pay a producer and an associate producer, then most of the time those producers will take on a lot of the hats. They will be the person thinking of the plan, executing the plan, and a lot more. Lastly, the part that so many people skip out on is a line producer. Again, every production, every project is a business. The person who is doing the hiring, the person who is doing the budgeting, the person who is staying on top of the money, because that is the main thing that will run out, especially if you do not have a line producer, is the money. Because when you have nobody paying attention to overages, when you have nobody paying attention to people getting paid and what things are coming to and the cost, it is so easy for that cost to run up. Your line producer is the person who is keeping everything on track. They're making sure that you stay within budget. They're making sure that everybody understands their rates. But most importantly, they are the first person who will tell you how much it is going to take for you to make this project in that development stage, so that you know how much money you have to go out and get. So that person is going to sit down, read your script, break down your script, see how much this is going to take to actually execute it on different levels. If you have a good line producer, they can tell you at what levels you can execute. They can also tell you what cash you need on hand. At different stages of production, you are going to need a certain amount of cash to get to the next stage. For example, you will need cash to pay for a lot of these locations up front. They cannot wait for your fundraiser to be done. They cannot wait for you to get funding. If you want to lock in a location, they're going to want their money up front. Your line producer can predict these things. Your line producer also follows you to the end of production because they do their wrap out. They make sure that everybody gets paid. They have all the invoices and paperwork needed, the W-9s, the 1099s. They make sure that all of that is in order so that they can close out the project. They'll tell you if you're going over, if you're under, if you save. They'll tell you where everything is at. You want to make sure you have a good line producer to follow you from the development stage all the way down to post-production. It is important for you as a filmmaker to truly understand what all of these producers do, because once you finish writing your script, you want to make sure you build a dream team of producers that can truly help see your film through, that can help get your film produced and produced well. There's not only one producer on a lot of these projects. Great projects have a team of producers to truly help support every aspect of this production, to truly help support bring this project to fruition in the best way possible. One person handling all of this can get rather overwhelming. So build your dream team. Have somebody focused on the money and the budget. Have somebody else focused on the logistics in certain departments. Have somebody else focused on the execution of things. Have people who have different strengths in different avenues actually being utilized throughout your production. This is a team sport. Say it with me. Filmmaking is a team sport.